Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Sid Hameed on the line, and he's the founder over at Brickfront Properties and Construction. Sid, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Oh, man, glad to have you on, Sid, and I'm excited to get more into what you're doing over at Brickfront Properties and Construction and how you're helping your clients. But before we do that, let's get a little bit more into your background. So how did you get started in business and in your career?
Oh, man. Hey, so look, I came to this country back in 1977 from Pakistan, and so I was like 10 years old, and so we had to work immediately, right? So when I got here, we started delivering newspapers. So as I started delivering newspapers, I would hire the local kids in my neighborhood. You know, back in the 70s and 80s, you had to collect money in the afternoon and stuff like that. So I would have like 20 kids working for me when we were like 10, 12, 13 years old. And then back then, you know, the McDonald's burgers were like 25 cents a burger. So I would tell people, hey, man, help me deliver these 1,000 papers and let's get this shit done. Let's go to the arcade. And I just started learning on how to delegate and how to just network with other people and give people what they want at a young age.
Wow, that's awesome. So you were 10 years old, starting your paper business, had about 20 people working for you already. You're paying wages through burgers and video games. I love it.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. So obviously, Sid, and you've been through way more since then. You're a senior and tenured entrepreneur, many years of business under your belt since those early days. If you could give a little bit of advice to that new group of entrepreneurs that are just coming up. Maybe they're just graduating college. Maybe they didn't go to college and they're just starting out in the workforce. What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, number one, man, is the magic of thinking big, right? There's a book. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big. Read that like 50 times, 100 times, right? The Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill's book. Read that book. Pay attention to it. 100 times. And the words are there. The answers are there. The guidance and the support is there. How to grow a business and scale a business, the answers are right there.
I love it. And I love that book, by the way, Magic of Thinking Big. That's a classic. And I don't hear that one too often. So Think and Grow Rich, I hear that one pretty often. Magic of Thinking Big, that's a great one for the listeners. If you haven't read that yet, you definitely should. I think it might even be on YouTube. I can't remember the last time I read it, but now you just reminded me I need to get back into that one again. So love that advice, Sid. So let's switch it up a bit. I want to get more into what you're doing over at Brickfront Properties and Construction. So what kind of projects do you typically work on?
So right now, so I've been in construction all my life. I've been a home inspector for over 20 years. And so what I do is I find properties in great neighborhoods that are shitty. And I renovate them, I fix them up, and I look at the land and the zoning. A lot of times with the land, I could either go back another 10, 20 feet. I could add on to the house. Sometimes I could do a condo conversion project and make a single-family home to 4 condos. So I'm always utilizing the zoning and the land and the setbacks to see what kind of value I could add to these properties in these great neighborhoods.
Wow, that's any kind of trends you've been noticing in your neck of the woods, and what area do you predominantly kind of work in and buy in?
So I'm in the Washington, D.C. market, Northern Virginia, Fairfax, Bethesda area. So we're in the market where, it's $1 million to $2 million to $500,000. So what I've noticed that the product, anything above $1 million, is starting to slow down quite a bit, and the days of the market are picking up, and the sellers are reducing their prices. The activity that's below $500,000 is still moving. However, their days of market are picking up there too. But all of this is happening between all the stuff that Trump's doing with China and the trade wars and interest rates and all that stuff.
No, that I get it. So what's next here? So I know that you're developing and buying homes. Do you work on multifamily also, or no? I just want to be clear, get a little bit more into kind of what you like working on and what kind of projects.
Sure. So basically what we've done is we've created a family fund between me and my brothers, and so we have access to a few $1 million, and we do look for passive properties such as apartment buildings, single-family units, as well as self-storage. I have built 2 apartment buildings, an 8-unit and a 16-unit from the ground up in the past, and I've also built 2 self-storage units. So they can be pretty lucrative, once all the process and the system is in place.
Wow, that's great. So and what I like about your system and your setup is that you've been in business for going on 20 years in construction and doing this stuff. So if I'm just thinking out loud on the guys that I want evaluating properties, I want somebody who has their money in the game, number one, but number two, somebody that actually knows how to build, right?
Exactly. And you want to build not just for the moment. You want to build for the next 5-10 years out. So we try to do like smart build. So try to utilize technology and solar and different things like that to work off the grid. So we want to create value today, but also when we sell out and cash out, we want to make sure the property is still relevant and current.
That's awesome. So do you take on outside investments or outside investors, or is this staying inside the family? Or I'm just trying to get a feel for your setup. So if somebody's listening to this right now and if they're driving in their car and they're like, oh, I like what Sid's talking about, and maybe they're interested in those areas and they don't have expertise, boots on the ground when it comes to investing in real estate is really important. So do you take on outside investors?
We do. We raise capital, private funding, and we provide a yield on the return, but it's case by case, project by project.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome. So Sid, if somebody's listening to this and if they want more information or to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to follow up?
Oh, they could Google my name, Sid Hameed. They could go to brickfrontproperties.com. They could find me on LinkedIn. I have some YouTube videos out there under Brickfront Properties as well. And my office number is 240-764-5347.
That's awesome. Well, hey, Sid, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and also the great work you're doing over at Brickfront Properties and Construction. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review, do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And Sid, thanks again for coming on the show.